In our next question, we need to explain how are the hereditary changes responsible for evolution. Before we talk anything about the hereditary changes, first we need to talk about evolution, right? What exactly is evolution? It is the gradual change of biological characteristics happening inside the bodies of living organisms, because of which newer and newer species are generated. Let's have a look at the technical terminology over here. So, formation of new species due to changes in the specific characteristics, okay? So, changes in specific characteristics. But is it happening only in one generation? No. There is accumulated change for thousands of generations, for several generations, right? So, of several generations of living organisms as a response to the natural selection. Why are these changes happening? And in fact, why are they being passed on to the next generation? Because the nature is selecting the best variation and allowing it to proceed. And this is exactly what is called as evolution. Now, what exactly has evolution done? When we look around us, we see thousands of different, in fact millions and crores of different types of species, right from a small chlorella, a very simple unicellular organism, to a very large banyan tree, then from a small amoeba to giant whales. So, there is a lot of variation that is present on this beautiful earth of ours. That is what we explain in the next point over here. At present, crores of species of plants that range from chlorella to the banyan tree and animals that range from amoeba to the giant whales are existing currently on earth. This word over here, a few of us might make a few spelling mistake. Chlorella. So, let's have a look at that. Let's split it into parts. 3 parts to be more precise. Chlorella. Right. So, that's how we split it. Then further what we talk about is, we talk about the first primitive cells that were produced on this earth. They were obviously produced because of a few simple chemical reactions between organic and inorganic compounds, right. So, the first primitive cells may have been formed from the mixture of different types of organic and inorganic compounds, because even today when we look inside the cell, we see a lot of chemistry happening, a lot of biochemistry rather I should say happening. So, there is reason for us to believe that life started in the form of these simple chemical reactions which with time started becoming more and more complicated. Now, once this primitive cell had formed on earth, right, we will see what happens. But before that, let's have a look at this word over here, primitive. We can split it as primitive into 3 parts. Okay, now let's continue. Once this cell would have formed on earth, it would have given birth to different types of cells, a lot of variations of cells, and according to the principle of natural selection, nature would have selected the best cells out of these. This would be the cells that can reproduce faster, that can take nutrients from their surrounding faster, that can divide more efficiently. That is exactly what we mentioned in the next point. So, there may have been some differences amongst the cell. All cells obviously wouldn't have been the same, because the DNA copying mechanism is not 100% perfect, because of which we know mutations happen, changes happen. So, there may have been some differences amongst the cell, and according to the principle of the natural selection, right, nature selects the fittest. Some may have shown good growth and some may have perished. Perished means they would have gone extinct because they are not able to cope up with their immediate environment, which could not adjust to their surrounding, and hence they perished. So, eventually what happened was, these fittest DNA were passed from one generation to the next, which is heredity, right. So, the fittest DNA being passed on, and that gives rise to new species. That is what we mentioned in our last point. So, this is how we say, sustaining and selected organisms, whoever has been selected and sustained by the nature, by the environment, can perform reproduction. They can give birth to the next generation, and thereby they can give rise to new species that have their own specific biological characters. And that is how hereditary changes are responsible for evolution.